Thursday edition, Hot Ice, August 18th. Carl has a pretty huge interview right now. He's running a little late. When he comes in, we're going to go to the pen for him. But as usual, which some people like, some people don't like, the Yankees dominate the headlines. I had the Tampa Bay Rays last night in another spot that you were like, the Yankees are struggling. Let me take the plus sign. Let me see what I could do. The Yankees. Josh Donaldson hits a home run in grand slam home run in extra innings after being down. What were they down?
7. We're down 4-0 in like the
right.
6 or 7, and then I think 6, and we're down 7-4 in the
7-4.
bottom
gave
10.
Up 3. Gave up 3. Yeah, I meant exact score. I knew they were down 3, so gave up exact score in the top of the 10th. Yep. Yankees get the ghost runner, move some things along. Josh Donaldson hits a grand slam. I don't want to get like out of control, but did this kind of save, I don't want to say the season because you're obviously in first place, but like what did this save? Did this save the month? Did this save the second half? Because you've been really bad since the All-Star break. Like what? You've kind of been cutting it like it is. You are injured, but this is a type of game I equated it the Mets were in a tough spot last night too. That crazy rain delay game that they lost when they brought him back out in the field. I think it was like San Diego right before we got Cespedes in like 2015. It was an awful, awful, awful loss. And then 3 years ago when the Nationals ended up winning the World Series, we blew like an 8-1 lead on the same thing. Diaz blows it like this. These type of losses are like catastrophic, and sometimes you don't fully recover from them. So this is a hell of a win. On the flip side, it's a hell of a win for the Yankees. Where do you put this? Like, what did this save? Because it's been tough slate here for the Yankees.
Listen, obviously everyone knows things have been real bad since the All-Star break. I don't even want to make some crazy overreaction like it saved the season or it saved the second half. All I'm going to say is the obvious, that we just needed something like this really fucking bad. I think it's as simple as that to me. We needed a spark. I'm really hoping that this was the spark. The team was super excited, finally scored some runs. We're getting shut out until Glaber hits the 2-run shot. We end up loading the bases, get another run off a Judge walk. Then Rizzo comes up, I believe it was the 8th, and it's a big home run to tie the game. Huge, huge clutch hit by him. Rizzo, even though the batting average has been great, he's had great power numbers. He's been a clutch guy. He's came up with big hits when we've needed it, so love Rizzo. We just needed a spark like this. Like, we needed something like this to happen, especially when they come out and score 3 runs in the 10th with all fucking Chapman, and we're like, oh, fuck, here we go. Like 3 runs, like we're in trouble. Obviously get the ghost runner at second, but still scoring 3 runs still isn't easy. Ray's got a very good bullpen. But I mean, and Donaldson, someone, and I think him even more it helps because he is someone who, a big, obviously, offseason acquisition who has not lived up to par, hasn't hit spectacularly, not great for average, comes up with a big opposite field grand slam. Honestly, what I really loved is how many fans were still in the stands, had an hour delay. This is a Wednesday night at it's fucking like midnight, later in the game that started at 7 sharp. So, I mean, all the fans that were there were awesome. The team, I think you could feel how badly the team needed it by just watching the team reaction. Like, they were ecstatic. Yes. I was seeing some guys chirping me like, oh, act like they won the World Series. No, it was a team that's been struggling really bad, has not been scoring any runs, finally puts up a big number, even though it was an extra still, puts up 8 runs, was able to, and not only that, was able to claw back in the game, was down 4-0 late in the game where we're looking like, oh, here we go again. Another just putrid, disgusting, anemic performance by the Yankees offense. And then, like I said, Glaber kind of gets it going. We get some things moving. We just need it real bad. I'm hoping that this starts, the streak gets the bats going, wakes them up a little bit. Giancarlo, I believe, should be back sometime next week, they're saying. So hopefully that should give us a big boost in the middle of the lineup. The problem is that they've been able to pitch around Judge a lot, but when you have Judge stand right there,
right.
When I love when it goes, because when we have obviously LeMahieu hopefully gets himself fully back, he's playing kind of hurt right now a little bit still, but when we have LeMahieu, Judge, Rizzo, Stan, you can't just pitch around Judge we got Rizzo and Stan coming right up.
Full health, yeah. That's the thing. You got to build that lineup. Definitely, you got to build that lineup and have Judge just get help because he's been carrying you, so he's very easy to expose when he's not. He can't hit a 3-run homer if nobody's getting on base in front of him.
For sure.
You know, it's just a fact.
Sure.
You can't do that.
So because I've noticed it just the way teams that without Giancarlo there, and Rizzo just came back, like he was out for a while, so we were without both those guys for a week or so. Like I just see the way they pitched to Judge. That's why he hasn't really hit a home run the last the way they pitched to him is so different. They just don't got to give him anything to hit. But it's way different when you got Rizzo and Stan coming up because you got to throw somebody a strike. You can't just walk them all. But I mean, obviously, you just needed it bad. That was huge, huge, huge win. I'm hopeful that that's kind of what gets us off the schneid, gets the bats woken up, team gets a little healthier, we get going, things get moving, some momentum. So felt good, needed it desperately.
Yeah, listen, I mean, you can get in a run, you know, where you need a game. I thought the Mets needed one last night because I weirdly think the Braves can get to DeGrom as well. As lights out as he's been, you know, they can lift the ball in that ballpark. They got a lot of home run hitters locked up for the next 30 years, which is another fucking whole show we could do on. But, you know, you got to stop the bleeding at a certain point. Like if the Mets didn't get that run and they lose the 4 to the Braves and now the lead's 1.5, like there's a very real possibility they could be now in second place, something they haven't been all season. So, like, playing with that chip on your shoulder, you know, the Yankees aren't losing the division, but, like, maybe it starts to set in, hey, you know what? The Astros, yeah, like, we can't catch them. We're in our own heads. Like, so I get it. It's a mental game. You got to get out of it. I think it's also a big spot for the Yankees now, today and this weekend. You know, getting through
100%
the rest of the way. So that goes without saying.
Can we
yeah, go ahead.
Can we touch on the Harris thing just real quick? And just kind of that whole situation.
I asked,
honestly, I know obviously you're in the division, so it sucks, but I'm saying this just legitimately, just as like just a fan of the game, fan of baseball and the business. I mean, what a job by their GM. I mean, and two, do you think that this is something that other teams will try to copy moving forward? When you have these young guys, like, are you better off giving them extra money early as opposed to not having to give them $500 million when they're fucking 30?
Right.
Like, I just think, and I think it works well for a guy like Harris too, where he's so young. Where I thought the club options were kind of crazy on his part, but I understand a kid like him where he's only had a good couple months, but he's played phenomenal. I think he's going to be a great player for a long time. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but I'm saying it's almost like this. It's taking the early money up front where you're still getting paid well to not bet on yourself, to be all these years of arbitration. You know, all these years of making dog shit, hoping that you have to put the string together like 4 or 5 good seasons to then get the big contract. Right. And I think what he's done with what he's obviously with like Albies and Acuna, and even though Riley got big money, still he's a guy that could have been like a 300 plus guy, maybe. Who knows? He's young as well. Took 200 over 10. Harris taking like 72 over 8 with club options for like 15 and 20 way down the line. Albies for like. Albie's not making much.
No, I don't think Albies is it, or who's the one who's not locked up? Swanson?
Swanson's going to get paid. Acuna signed like 100 flat. And I mean, he's a fucking star. Like, I'm wondering if teams are going to try to copy this moving forward. Obviously, you got to get lucky enough where you have these young studs that are ready to go early in their career. So that's an outlier. Not every team has that. So that's not like a thing that all these teams are just have all this 22, 24-year-old floating talent all over your roster. But I just got to give their front office, like, what a great job and so fucking smart. Because that's how you're able to pay all these guys and have them for a long time. Like, it's very rare to pay like 6 stars, but they were able to lock down 4 of these guys for a long time. And I think it's going to, in long run, that could be the reason why they're able to pay Swanson, able to pay some of these other guys, like pay Fried, big, like some of the pitching big contracts. If Strider keeps going good, they're going to have to pay him a big contract. But if we're giving these guys money early, this is huge for building the team, not only for now, but for a long, long future. Like, I just give him a ton of credit.
No, definitely. You brought up some good points. I said to Big T and Travi today, I'm like, do you guys have, like, blackmail on these guys? Like, Michael Harris, like, how'd you get him for $9 million for 8 years? They were like, listen, he really – and the point you brought up, he has only performed now for –
a couple months.
Yeah, exactly. So I get that. And he could have a decline, but it's just almost like being a Met fan of like, damn, they got that. Like, he is good, and you got to think he's going to be really good. So to get him locked in that short piece of money, you're like, how did they do that? But in Harris's head, and what it's credit to Travis who said it, he was like, you know, he hasn't really proved it. And he also, and Big T said it too, he's like, he was making fucking bus fares in the minors before this. So you throw, you're going to give me $72 million. I'll make that. I can live off that. Like, that's okay. I could probably restructure it whenever I want to restructure it. But also, I'm going to be 29 or 30, and I'm going to get a $500 million.
Yes,
like, I'm okay. And then the point you brought together of like bringing all these guys like Riley, Acuna, this whole core, it does seem like Riley took that deal because he wanted to be in a core lineup where he's got guys hitting in front of him and behind him that, hey, we just won a World Series. We can go win now. Like we're built for the future. And the last point is, yes, I do think teams will try to do it. Maybe the Yankees, the Mets, the Giants, like well-run organizations. But we've already kind of seen this with the Marlins. If you can't afford to do it, they're going to let guys walk. So it's a lot of the right scenario. The Braves have been a class organization for 30 years. It's really weird they only have the 2 titles in that time frame. But, yeah, it's the Braves are a force, and the Mets got to do the right thing. So I hope the Mets, if Beatty has a fucking unbelievable, like, first half next year, like, lock him up. Like Alvarez comes up, like, lock him up. You're right, because you can put him with those guys, and Cohen's then going to go spend money on these guys in the free agency. So it's definitely a recipe for success. I like what the Braves are doing, and of course we're in the division, so it sucks, but that's how it goes. The other Yankee headline I had, that's a great point to bring up Harris, because that's kind of dominating the headlines as well. Yes or no? Is there a world where Judge doesn't win MVP? He's minus 625 right now. Is the Ohtani buzz getting a little too cute? I don't know how Ohtani can win it. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that too, where I think some of the writers, they don't love giving guys awards over and over and over again. As much as people can say that's right, wrong, and different, whatever. Right. I think it's just kind of the human element of having just people vote for an award. And obviously, Judge has had this monster season where it's not only like the average is good, he's hitting insane home run numbers, RBI numbers are through the roof. And Ohtani just being on a dreadful baseball team is not doing him any favors. Even though I do think the award has kind of become more like the most outstanding player than it has the MVP. Because last year if you did it, the Angels weren't good last year either, and he won it.
Right.
The only thing that gives me a little pause is when you look at the end of the year stats, and all of a sudden you're like, Ohtani's got a sub-3 ERA and he hit 35 home runs. You're like, shit. Well, Judge hit 55, but he didn't pitch. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I think with Judge too, I think people don't account for he plays a fucking phenomenal outfield. That is the one thing for years I've said. He is such a fucking good outfielder. Has a cannon for an arm. Is sneaky, super fast because he's a lumbering guy. He's tall as shit, but he moves really well. Great hand-eye coordination. Like he's a monster out there to the point now where we're putting him in center comfortably, and he's roaming out there playing fantastic. So I think that's a very underrated part of his game. Like he's a legit 5-tool guy. But I think he deserves a win. I think this is his year. He's had his eye on the ball all year. He's had an unreal season. I hope he gets 62. I would love to see that. That'd be incredible. I think he's still got a decent chance. He's got to go on a nice run here. I think he's at 40. What's he at? 46, 47 right now, I think. Yeah, so he's still got a ways to go. But he's a guy that can hit 8 in 6 days. So he could be right there if he gets out again. And I think he definitely's got 1 or 2 more of those runs in him.
For sure. I think he's gonna win MVP, but I think it's gonna get a little closer than it should be. I feel like Ohtani's gonna sneak some more votes, like percentage wise. Like maybe he wins, 60% of the vote when he really should win 75. One of those. You know what I mean? Like you're like, ooh, like so that's something to keep an eye on.
Listen, because what Ohtani's done is it's unprecedented. I give as much as I've put him down saying I've talked shit saying I don't think he's as good of a pitcher as people think.
I don't think so either.
The guy's unbelievable. The fact that he can be like a top 10, 20 pitcher in the AL, and then also be like one of the best home run hitters in the league is just outrageous.
Yeah, it's crazy. The hit parade is back. We got a price today. Get it early. We have a shareable bet slip. Click it. It's very simple. It's plus 220. We are 14.53 units on the year. I looked it up. We're like 7 out of our last 8. We're on a tear since July. Jeff McNeil has been red hot I obviously don't like backing the Mets. I back the Mets because I know I watch them every night. I'm watching MLB TV. Jeff McNeil's one of the hottest hitters on the planet right now. I'm throwing Jeff McNeil in. Ev, give me the usual. Who are you going with after what we just talked about?
Listen, after the spark last night, I had to go Judge. I was
agree.
like, this is a Judge day. He's also had some good success against Barrios. Earlier this year, he hit a fucking nuke off Barrios at Yankee Stadium. I just think this is kind of the time where this is when Judge goes on one of those little runs. And I like him to homer tonight too. But I think he definitely gets a hit for sure. So I'm all over the Judge train.
Sure. And then Carl is adding in a guy who's been very good to us as well.
His guy. That's his guy, Altuve.
Yeah, Altuve. Altuve's been unbelievable. So that's plus 220. Anything over 2 is where it really starts that you're like, you look at the numbers, because obviously these guys have minus signs, but the parlay adds it. The 220 is really where you start to get it. That puts us up near about 17. And then we just keep going. Yeah. That's the goal. Yeah, we're going to keep getting hot, stay hot for the summer, and get it going. Dog of the day. It's a slim board. I think you can go. I'm interested to see where you can go. Like you can obviously go with teams like, who do the Nats have again today? The Padres, right? You could go with the Nats.
That's a late game.
Yeah, what are some other insane numbers? The Pirates are a dog. You can kind of go with the Blue Jays, but I think that's a tough spot for going against the Yankees. We could go with our Royals at a huge number. That's not where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks plus 120. Zach Gallen with a 1.37 ERA in August. How about this? 6 decisions this year with 0 or 1 earned run where he got a no decision. I wrote 6 decisions. 6 games where he had 0 or 1 run with 1 earned run with no decision. That is DeGrom type shit. He's throwing gems for these guys, and he can't get any backing because Arizona's lineup is really bad. His last loss was June 10th. I don't like the Giants. I know they rattled off about 5 or 6 wins here, like in a row. I'm going to go with the Diamondbacks at a very, very small number. I wouldn't be surprised if Gallen gets some more action and it hits like 102, 103. Where are you going? You looking at a big ticket, or you on one of these kind of smaller dogs?
No, small. I was actually between this play and that play. I'll put it like this. For best bet, I'm gonna get back to that game later.
Sure.
But for dog of the day, I'm going with the Braves. I just think they're due to take the series. Fried's on the mound. I get obviously great pitching matchup. Don't hate the under for anyone out there as well. The under in that game, I think, is a smart, decent play as well. But I'm taking Fried plus 112. Braves have been hot. Obviously, big shootout yesterday, 9-7. Like I said, I think it's much low scoring today, but I think Braves could squeak one out like 3-2 here, 4-2, something like that. So taking a shot at the Braves plus 112 at home.
Yeah, it's a I don't want to say a principal play, and you're not really getting huge juice, but I do think the Braves will win the series. I thought it was massive last night. Mets almost gave it away. It was massive to win that game. I still think Scherzer is a little more locked in than DeGrom in a longer term.
Yeah.
Like what we've seen from DeGrom, but that doesn't mean he can't get shelled in 3 innings, and still be a phenomenal pitcher. Like everybody, I mean, Verlander got shelled a couple of weeks ago. These guys do get shelled. That's just how it goes. He can have a bad outing. So I thought the Braves are going to take it. I like that play. You touched on best bet involved in the D-backs game. Which way are you going with that? Hopefully it's Gallen strikeouts.
Under for the game. Under 7.5.
Logan Webb.
Gallen,
yep.
Webb also has been phenomenal home splits for him. You brought up some of the numbers I was going to bring up with Gallen. Like the guys, he's been having a phenomenal season all around. But the last month and a half, he's been incredible. Like I said, I almost think the Diamondbacks are my dog of the day. I think I'm going to be playing the Diamondbacks on my card, but I really like the under here, 7.5. I got it at 7.5. I think it's even went down to 7, but I really, really like this underplay. I legitimately think this could be like a 2-1, 3-2 type of game. Absolute grind fest. I think they both go 6-7 strong at least. I like 7.5.
Local time, 12:45 first pitch.
Yeah, but for the East Coast guys, it's like a 340 first pitch. So get them in early while you can.
Maybe we get
the under.
You get an umpire who's a little. He wants to get the fuck out of there too. Strike zone gets a little wider. I like it. I like the under. So that's your best bet, the under. Best bet for me, I'm gonna go with kind of an off the. I got tricky with it. Padres first to 5 runs minus 122. So their team total, you can get a plus sign at. I think it's like plus 115 over 5.5. If you think they're going to blow them out, I don't hate that play, but I'm going to go first to 5 because it lets me land on that even number, -122. They've scored 5+ runs in 5 of their last 8 games. This is an identical pitching matchup with Yu Darvish against Anibal Sanchez. The last time they faced him was Saturday. The Nats won 4-3. Darvish had 6 innings pitched, gave up 4 runs, did have 9 strikeouts. Anibal Sanchez only gave up 3 earned runs. The Padres, they were tied. The Padres blew that lead in the 7th. Washington has an awful pen. Padres here, I don't think lightning strikes twice in a bottle. Padres go out and just they're mashing the ball. We've talked about it too. Like, I've been shitting on the Padres all the time. Like, oh, they're frauds. They're bums. Padres do what they're supposed to do here. They ain't losing to the Nats back to back. Or the outcome doesn't really involve it to me. But if you're going to win, I think you're going to score the 5 runs. I'm going with the Padres at 5. I think the bats explode. I really do.
Also, I'm the over in this game is on my card. I got 7.
I would look at first 5 overs. I'd look at
I think it was 7.5. It might be up to 8 now. I locked in 7.5 minus like 115. I think the over. The over, like I said, it's on my card. I tend to agree with you. I think the Padres have a decent chance to get 7 by themselves. I think Nationals squeak out enough to get this over.
So I had looked at a variety of different ways to go after this game. I wanted to go after Darvish strikeouts. I looked at his numbers. He's lights out when he's lights out, but the numbers haven't. It was a little. His number was a little high on that. I looked at Padres team total 5.5. I'm like, I don't know if I want to land on 5.5. Then I tried to move the line with the Barstool Sportsbook. Padres now at -1.5 is 175, which is insane. Okay. You move it to 2, it's still 136.
Yeah, crazy.
You move it to 2.5, it's plus 100.
Yeah.
The Padres are going to dominate this game. If you're going to win by 3 runs, you got to score at least, you got to score at least
4 or 5, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're blowing it up here. I'm going with the Padres first to 5 runs. Extra innings, a very, very funny clip. I just put it into the queue to try and blog it. Did you see this guy in the Dodgers broadcast or the Brewers broadcast going down the slide and breaking his arm?
No, I didn't see it.
Have you seen this? Big Cat tweeted it. I'll get you the clip quickly, and we'll probably get canceled for showing it, but who knows? It's from John Boy, so he's in with the people. He's good. All right, take a look at this.
Oh!
Okay, no, it gets better. It gets better. Guys in the cast.
No. You know an arm injury is bad when that cast goes above the elbow. That's a serious injury.
The only thing he was missing was this, whatever this that
the
Rowan Gardner. Exactly. That's perfect.
Like this.
Yeah, hot ice. He's just like this. Everyone raised their hand in the class. He won't put it down. Like, unbelievable. So that clip is fucking unreal. Like, and
hope the guy heals up. Jesus.
You know what though? You feel bad because I would want to go down the slide too.
And you could feel he felt it coming. He's screaming the whole way down. He's like, this is going
way
faster than I thought it was going to go.
Oh, yeah. I went on when we were in Hershey, I went on a water slide they had the water slide at the pool. I'm like, ooh, this moves a little quicker than you expected. Like, so hopefully thoughts and prayers to that guy on the arm. He's out for the summer.
Speedy recovery.
Oh, my God. Imagine trying to explain that to his wife or girlfriend. Like, yeah, I went down the slide. Yeah, now with the viral clip, it's not just unbelievable.
Broke my arm on a slide, honey.
Hit parade plus 220. Put everything together in the parlay. Carl have his picks on the graphic. Hot ice is hot. Hit parade's hot. Let's get going. See you on Tuesday.